In November of 2023, I went to a country that lies at the heart of the ancient Silk Road, Uzbekistan. I was invited to a wedding in the capital of Tashkent, a city that has 3,000 years of history, but that was virtually completely destroyed in an earthquake in 1966 and consequently rebuilt as a model Soviet city. During my stay, I got to see many interesting things. Historical neighborhoods that seem to belong in Aladdin, some of the best Soviet architecture on the planet, bazaars that have been around since the ancient Silk Road, the best food of Central Asia, friendly locals, and a country that is rebuilding itself in a very big way after decades of isolation. So with the wedding done, which you can see in part 1 of this series, I was free to explore the city. I knew that the first place I needed to go is the old town. The little that is left of it, that is. As I said in the intro, Tashkent was pretty much totally destroyed in an earthquake, and as a result, very little of its great history remains as far as the architecture is concerned. I have a completely separate video on this channel dedicated to the incredibly interesting and unique Soviet architecture that emerged during the city's reconstruction that mixed in elements of Central Asian motifs and the brutalist style. The little that the earthquake did not destroy is now a small historic quarter, the Old Town, or Eski Shahar, which is nowadays under threat from a different source. The thing is that the country is modernizing very rapidly after being closed off for a long time, and real estate is where you really see this the most. Whole city quarters have been razed to the ground to make way for new developments, and the neighborhoods that are disappearing are mainly in the old town. My plan was to visit the neighborhood and discover all the hidden zigzag alleyways and get to see how people really live before it becomes history. However, since I lived close by, I knew that I can go there as I feel, so my first visit was just a quick excursion. This is what the old town looks like, where I am right now. After the old town, my idea was to visit an incredible feat of engineering that is being built in a new development, a vision of the future if you like, and at the same time pay a quick visit to the Disneyland of Tashkent. Yeah, it sounds weird, and it is, but it's also kind of cool. You'll see what I mean. I was gonna get there real slow by walking from my area, which was a working class traditional neighborhood, all the way to the very Sovietized center. Along the way, I saw many interesting things. Kinds of imported stuff. Слоеная? Слоеная? Да, слоеная.
Баран, будто баран.
Баран.
Баран, будто баран.
Баран. Сколько стоит? 8. If you're wondering what this is, it's called samsa, a meat pastry that's baked in those clay ovens that you see there, called tandır in Central Asia, tandoor in South Asia, and other similar names elsewhere. Very traditional for this region. The camera.
Камера?
Camera.
Камера ki. O kafesi doktor.
Ha, that.
Kafesi. Rahtar bulmadı. Rahtar bulmadı. Rahtar. Çocuklara ders verirsen çocuk senden ders almaz. Kamera var ya, video çekiyor. Koy ver. Buradan gidiyor. Kamera video okuyor. Hayatı var mı? Kampır okuyor tabii. Çıkıyor severler. Çık.
Спасибо. This place was always packed. I would pass by it all the time. So I would return and judge the quality for myself on my last day in Tashkent. And I'll give an honest review, I promise. Yeah, so this is where kind of like the Soviet Tashkent begins. I just want to show something super weird. And this is an old gas canister that is the barrier. It's the first time I see something like that. But yeah, the typical Soviet Tashkent is, that's a nice building. Looks abandoned. It's like this, with these boulevards and a bunch of tall trees. This was the Vietnamese, Vietnamese embassy. So basically I turned right where that samsa place was. And here it's like kind of like a different world already. Over there it's like the really Uzbek working class type of area, which is where I live as well. And from here it starts to get pretty different. Here, even the people are kind of different. You don't see the girls wrapped up. People are dressed different, more modern, and less of the traditional stuff. Doesn't really look that much different as far as the infrastructure. But I noticed even last time that the center areas, people look different. It's like a totally different layer of society that lives in these parts. When I first came here, I was there and I thought I'm in the center, or at least close to the center. And when I saw the people, I was like, my God, man. Like, this is the Uzbekistan that they're talking about, that is developing and all that. I was pretty disappointed. And then I realized, no, That is just a very traditional working class area. And around these parts, it's a totally different vibe here. It's more of the old, like Soviet Union style here. But yeah, check the people. So different. Totally different crowd here. Just one street over and everything changes. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, just for the sake of the people, I'm gonna continue filming. Show the difference. I think a famous Russian company designed this little corner here. Some guy was talking about it, like this whole corner area here. What a metro station. Weird. Seriously, man. People are so different around here. It's kind of incredible, the difference. They don't mix, like, it's weird, man. Look at this building. There's another building with a clock tower like that one. Somewhere in the center, it's also famous. Some kind of clock tower. I think there's two next to each other. It was time to go to the target location. A real estate development that will change the face of the city. It's rare to be able to see the future in slow motion. This is that kind of a place. Whoever gets a piece of this action is going to be a happy camper for a very, very long time. This was one of the projects I was looking at for investment. That part on the right side was supposed to be done, I believe, in the spring of 2023. Now it's November 2023 and we're not done. Okay, it happens. When I was talking to them, they told me they already had most of the places rented out on the left side. Right, the side that is done. So let's see if that's for real, and let's see who rented it out. Uzbekistan was a closed-off country since it gained independence from the Soviet Union in 1991. When the current president took over in 2016, he changed this policy, and since then the country has embarked on a major facelift in all aspects, the main one being real estate, especially in Tashkent. The whole city is being rebuilt with some very ambitious projects, this one being one of them. The country is actually rich in both human capital and resources, and there's plenty of money within certain circles of society. But until recently, these people had nothing to invest in back home. So Uzbek capital was mainly concentrated abroad. Well, now it's coming home, and this is where it's being put to use, together with some foreign investment as well. In fact, the conditions that are being offered in these projects are really without competition. I'm not going to get into all the details with the numbers, but believe me, these are once-in-a-lifetime type of offers. Much like Eastern Europe in the 90s, which I witnessed with my own eyes, almost anything you put your money into will work, simply because there's no competition and there's huge demand. A place like this, in the center, a pedestrian waterfront with commercial properties in a city that is super hot in the summer. Well, what can I say? Where else are the rich and beautiful gonna go? For rent, everything is still not taken. Next stop was another ambitious project, what I referred to earlier as the Disneyland of Tashkent. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen this kind of development anywhere in the world. A mixture of amusement park, pedestrian zone, open air mall, and recreational park. The kids' favorite, Disneyland of Tashkent, Magic City. Here there's a lot of people compared to the other place. Okay, this is done. This is done for a long time now. Here it's packed. Even last year when I was here, it was packed. Man, I don't know if the camera can catch it, but this tower block has the Burj Khalifa on top of it. It's weird. Why you have to put the Burj Khalifa there? Basically, it's an outdoor mall slash amusement park with some little things for kids. There's a square there, fountain show, whatever. I think this works. It's not a bad idea. And as we can see, it's totally packed. There's a big park over there. That's where I want to go. I haven't been there yet. This is the old Soviet park. I forgot what it was called, but now it's called Milli Bug. So the national park. This was Komsomolskaya озеро. That was the name. that was here. I think part of it was where the Magic City thing is, but they left this. It's nice in the summer, I'm sure. Now I feel cold here from the water. I wish I had a jacket. And they love watering the asphalt here. What's the point, man? It rained like hell yesterday, man. This thing was not completely done. Look at that. It's a freaking Burj Khalifa on the top. After this, I had a meeting at the main big development in the country called Tashkent City. It's a whole city quarter that is completely new, a mix of commercial, residential, and recreational, and in my opinion, modeled after Dubai. I will return here later in my trip and show it off during sunlight hours. So for now, just a quick little sneak peek. Back home now, and I got a present. It's humongous melon. Look at that. It's heavy, man. This is like 20 kilos. It's gotta be. It's gotta be 20 kilos, man. Oof. We'll see how good it tastes, man. I brought my day to a close with a nice cherry on top, or rather melon on top in this case. Central Asia is the best region for melons. Many people don't know that, but you can take my word for it. So sweet that it makes honey seem salty. And in Uzbekistan, they have melons all year round, even in winter. These are harvested in late fall and they're kept in special warehouses to keep them fresh, and you can buy melons basically until the first new harvest in April. This winter melon that I was gifted lasted me more than a week, and I stuffed myself with it every single night. You simply cannot find this taste anywhere else in the world. Man, I tried that melon. It's fantastic. The one I bought was crap, but this one is, my God, it's so good. Barely fits in the fridge. Look at that. I couldn't even put it up there. It doesn't fit. I have to do it like that. It's huge. And it's so freaking sweet. This is a winter melon. It's unbelievable the melons they have here, man. In the next video, I go back to Old Town to visit a secret location. I check out a bazaar in the heart of town. I go looking for iconic Soviet architecture on Tashkent's most European street. And I discover why this city is important to Muslims, Christians, and Hindus alike.